chosen ones, empaths, and all the genuine souls out there. Ever since I was young, okay, prior to awakening and stuff like that, I remember as a young child, I used to play outside and stuff. When I used to get um, a new game, PlayStation game or something like that, or SNES, or I would get something. I would want to be in my house. Like, I remember when I look back on my life, right? I don't know if any of you are like this. Like, you were very okay in your own company, right? I'd like to hear in the comment section if this is something built into you, or perhaps it's something you've learned after your experience. Now, I'm not saying that I was around narcissists and my friends were narcissists. As they grew up through years, they turned out to be toxic individuals and stuff like that. But at the time, it was pure, innocent, young, and still I wanted to be in my own company. Right. And what I want you to understand is let me touch on that a bit more. Like, they would knock on my door, "You coming out? Can I watch you play a game? You coming out?" Like, and I wasn't selfish or anything like that. It was just, I wanted to do me, right? This was as a young child. Now, what I'm saying is, if you can extract from that story, right? Even then, they wanted to be around, right? And this went on through my life in my younger years and stuff like that. A lot of acquaintances, a lot of fake friends, a lot of phonies, bro. Don't even know if they're narcissists, but a lot of them are toxic, right? And what it is I've always had a thing about going solo, There's power in being solo. I remember saying these things as an unaware mind, talking about, no, do things solo. Like giving advice to friends. I remember there was a friend I had that I was giving him advice about something, right? But it involved me telling him, no, do it solo. Do it solo. And there was a lot of awareness I had just in such a primitive state. Okay. I didn't really realize what I was saying at the time was so profound, right? And I want you to look inside yourselves. Did these narcissists come along? Because I've had friends. I had a particular friend that didn't used to give me any space. Psychopath, I think. Narcissist didn't give me any space. So like I couldn't be alone. It was weird, right? And it was just a friend, you know what I'm saying? Like someone you hang out with and chill out with, right? So much so that he isolated me from many of that circle, of people. A lot of people distanced themselves from me once I started affiliating with this individual. And I want you to understand that they can't recognize how you can do this alone. And like I said, I don't know if he's a psychopath or a toxic individual. But this goes for the narcissist involved in your life and narcissists involved in your life. Whether it's friend, romantic relationship, family. These narcissists that are around your toxic individuals, to say the least, right? They can't fathom how you can do this stuff alone and how you thrive in being alone. And that's what I want to give hope to you, that some of you have come out of maybe narcissistic relationships, and maybe you will resonate with what I said about your early days in your early life. There was times where you'd like to be alone. Perhaps a narcissist come along in your life, like I've just mentioned happened to me with the friend and the toxic friends. Maybe someone come along in your life and took over your life, right? So you wasn't that person who had their alone time, wasn't recharging. And that's why I think the lone wolf empath is something that many of you can adopt in your transformation period, because you go on to shine bright again. You go on to glow up. That's something that I want to promise all of you that have had narcissistic encounters from whichever aspect it was, romantic relationship, friendship, family member, colleague, associate, you do go on your glow up. You are going to go on to succeed. And this is what I'm saying. You do go on to thrive. And I want you to understand that there is kind of, you know, I don't want people to look at being a lone wolf, right, as a negative. Yes, a wolf is an animal, but there's certain signs within animals that resemble with man having dominion over animals. If you look at it from a religious sense or a biblical sense, you know, man has dominion. Adam had dominion over all things or over all animals, right? So certain synchronicities and signs, you can take wisdom from the animals. And even in I know I'm going off topic here, but just bear with me, whether you take it as mythology or fact or whatever. But even I'm sure it's like the Red Indians and stuff, they had symbolic meanings from animals and things like that. Many religions and things like that, and ways of thought and kind of revolve around animals and stuff. So what I'm saying is this lone wolf, okay, like it doesn't necessarily, it's not alone forever. It does find its pack, okay? That's the thing. But it chooses to go its own way. And that's something that you really is beneficial for you to do once you've been out of a narcissistic relationship, a toxic relationship, you know, a chaotic, abusive relationship with friend, family, colleague, whatever, right? Romantic partner, whatever. You've gone through some experience. It's about crafting your own way and choosing this, you know, telling people no, right? Telling people no, I don't want to go to the bar, I don't want to go to the club, or I'd rather do this alone. Like I don't want to do them things, you know. I don't want to do them things, okay? And you know, just craft in your own way, okay? Just craft in your own way, and just there was there's science feed, you know, there is science feed. I was going to go into a story, but I'll save it for another time perhaps. Yeah, it's because I'm doing something now where I'm gonna, you know, reveal, maybe it might be like a little mini series or something where I'm gonna reveal, I've put one up, I don't know if it's coming out after this one. Anyway, I'm getting confused, but there's like, I'm gonna do, you know, people's stories that I've done sessions with, that I revealed their stories, that I want to share it, okay? If they want to share it, then I'll just share it. Like I'll tell you their story or whatnot, okay? Because some people are like, yeah, share this and it will help. So there was a story, but I'll save it for another video, so look out for that perhaps. That will come up soon. You know, they just can't fathom it. It's because these narcissists and toxic individuals, like going back to when I said that time when I was a child, I think it was knocking on the door, they was dependent upon my energy, right? It's dependent upon me, and it was like that throughout my whole life, right? People used to gravitate towards me, and you don't realize that there's such a significance in you being alone, away from these distractions, away from these people draining your energy, away from all of this stuff. And that's why I encourage all of you to go alone afterwards, okay? Go through the discomfort. I don't want you to be scared or view this as a negative. Go through the discomfort, go through the loneliness, and embrace, you know, what maybe was with you when you was a child, or in your younger years, or in your school years. Embrace that there was a part of you that liked being alone. Maybe you've studied alone, maybe you used to like to do this alone, maybe you dealt with a lot of nasty people in your younger years, so you rode solo, like I was encouraging that friend to do, you know, like rolling solo. It's best, there's something in it, okay? And like I said, I don't want you to think it necessarily needs to be done forever. But like, if God's dealing you cards where you're presented with fakes and phonies in your life, like God's showing you like a lot of fakes and phonies in your circles and your friends and your family and your relationships, like you're noticing a lot of fakes and stuff, it's best to withdraw healthily and enjoy your alone time. And I think you're so much better prepared. And I actually had someone in a session. I'll just mention this, but they went alone for a long period of time, and then they ran into a narcissist. Okay, again, and that's the point. Like, I want you to all be aware that even if you do take some time out, you do roll alone, you are better prepared in some sense, because you're like in your own self, you'll be more invested in the other person and stuff. But if it's a narcissist, and fortunately this individual discovered it was a narcissist and got the hell away, but they took a significant period of time of healing, of reflection, of growth, of different pursuits in their life, and still this is what I'm saying, there's narcissists, right, that gravitate to you when you're lonely and vulnerable and alone. There's also narcissists that gravitate towards you when you're shining bright, you're on your glow up, you're rolling solo, you're doing your thing, and they'll try and draw you out. And that's what you got. That's what happens. You get drawn out by these parasites, and that's what you need to watch out for, right? There was a friend, he said about getting drawn out. Didn't understand what he meant. Okay. He said no one can draw you out. He's not really I don't know, right? It's a bit weird, the relationship, right? Don't really see, he ran into some unfortunate incidences. But he said to me, no one can draw you out. Now, I don't know if he was saying to me that in a manipulative way, right? Like, I don't know if he was saying it to like a mixed meaning, like, oh, I am being drawn out, so he's saying it like that, or he's saying no one can draw you out, okay? But he wasn't summing up what he meant, because when he said that, I didn't understand what he meant. Like, I didn't get it, what he was talking about, okay? But I think that something that the chosen one, the empath, the genuine soul, the lone wolf empath that you have in you, when you're very like, you may be around other people. I should have probably said this earlier. You may be around other people. You may have various affiliations, but you thrive in this being alone. It does create a shield around you, I believe, like a shield where you don't kind of go off in the wrong direction. And what I mean by wrong direction, because naturally you can have the life's twists and turns in life, right? What I mean is some of these narcissists and stuff like that have tried attempts to lure you into something, have tried to bait you into something, have tried to do these things, and it hasn't been working. All right, these people may have been around you, they may have been in your workplace, they may have been in your family, they may have been around you, but they were trying strategic moves to draw you out, to lure you into something, right? To get an agenda, for you to fulfill something in their life, to do whatever, right? But it wasn't working, okay? So that's maybe what that friend meant. Like, he was actually trying to do things, and he's noticed when he's analyzing my movements, he can't see me getting drawn out by other individuals, right? Because that's what it is, okay? That's what I need all of you to understand. Like, it's not just romantic relationships, but you come out of any relationship, right? And you just, gravitate to the next person, right? Or next group, or next whatever, okay? You're not healed enough. And it's like, you're prone to these individuals that are trying to draw you out, that are preying on the weak, like I was talking about, the vulnerable, not weak, but the vulnerable, right? When you're in a vulnerable state. But like I said, you can go through that whole healing growth, like that person I spoke to in the one-to-one session, and took a long, significant period of time out from relationships, friendships, everything, just worked on healing and growth and channeling energy, and they were still drawn out by a narcissist. So just keep your wits about you, okay? I don't know when you're gonna decide, like, what I'm saying is, I don't want you to fall back to sleep. Okay, I want you to remember this awakening that you've gone through. Understand that many individuals can't fathom how you thrive in this alone time. I don't want you to be discouraged in this alone time, and I just want you to understand not to fall back to sleep, and know that you're on a very powerful path. Right? It's a very, very powerful path. A lot of the most renowned thinkers and philosophers and developers and inventors, sorry, I was meant to say, have been lone wolves. Okay, some of them have had families, but they've spent proportions of their life alone, and that's what I really strongly encourage. Look, to be honest, it can make you or break you, right? But I think you all have the resilience and the strength and the mental fortitude to be able to persevere through the dark night of the soul, the dark times, the lonely times, and emerge brighter and stronger and be on your glow up. That's what I think you can all do. I know it may seem incredibly painful at times, the dark night of the soul, going through it, battling through it. But honestly, like, don't let it break you, okay? Like, this is a win for you. This path that you can go on afterwards in recovery, in healing, in future successes is something that is unmatched, okay? And this is what I'm talking about, the thriving. You go on to thrive, all right? You thrive. And this is, like I said, it doesn't need to be forever. It doesn't need to be for a lifetime. But just spend a proportion of your time dedicated to yourself, your well-being, your health, your future, your goals, working on all of these things, prioritizing that above meeting the wants and needs of others, okay, is really good. You know, it's really beneficial for you. So anyway, thanks for listening today. I really appreciate the support. Please book a session if you'd like to. You may donate or support to the channel if you want to. Check out the spiritual channel for more content. My podcast is down on Spotify. All links you need are in the description box below. If you would like access to over 100 exclusive videos, daily uploads and custom video requests, join my membership program at zionmembership.com. Links also in the description box below. There's a 3-day free trial and you can cancel at any time. All content is made by me with no ties to any organisation or university. Your support truly keeps us going. I'll be back with another video soon. Peace.